Hello everyone, Squid Mikuo here from MikuoToons. Today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Avatar: The Last Airbender since I recently started watching it for the first time because they finally put it on Netflix. I've been wanting to watch it for a while, but I just didn't have a way to do so until Netflix. So thank you, Netflix. Thank you so much. But as of writing this, I have only seen the first season, or as it's called, Book 1. And the reasoning behind that is because I know that my opinion of the first season will likely change after I watch the last two seasons. So before that happens, I wanted to give my thoughts on season 1 because I have never seen it before until like 2 weeks ago when I watched it. It's a pretty popular show, so a lot of people have seen it probably multiple times, and I thought it might be interesting to get the perspective of someone who's just watching it for the first time now. And that's basically what this video is, and I'm gonna make 2 more videos about the other 2 seasons when I get around to that, so yeah, but for now let's just get into the review of Book 1. I love it. I absolutely love it. In fact, I enjoyed it so much that I watched it in 3 days. The story overall is kind of cliche, being like a chosen one underdog thing, but I don't think that's really a bad thing because the world of Avatar is just so unique and fun that the clichéness really is hardly even noticeable because you don't care. It's just such a fun world to explore, and you get to explore it with the characters. I mean, they have penguins with 4 flippers. How fun is that? They're adorable. I mean, of course, I'm still excited to see how the plot continues, but the world building is amazing. Still, the comet and, like, all that stuff, that's interesting. But I'm pretty sure I can predict how it's gonna end. I've predicted pretty much everything that happened in Season 1. Jet being a bad person, called it. Zuko being the blue spirit, called it. Girl dying and becoming a fish, called it. Despite how obvious it was to me, at least, because, like, I just mentioned all those examples, I still enjoyed getting to see the story, and I'm going to continue enjoying it, even though I'm pretty sure I can guess how it's going to end. So let's talk characters. The main 3 are a really good group. I like the dynamics between them as well as the characters by themselves. Sokka is probably the most relatable, at least to me, and he's a pretty fun character except for when he's, as Katara put it, though he seems to grow past that after, like, the first few episodes. However, sexism does return with that jerk waterbender towards the end of Season 1 who just refused to train Katara, which was pretty annoying, but luckily he came around too. Speaking of Katara, though, she's honestly more of a main character than Aang is, at least in my opinion. Like, of course Aang is the Avatar, and, like, the chosen one, but I feel like Katara actually gets more of the focus, at least in this book, but who knows how things might turn out in the next 2. However, my favorite character so far is Prince Zuko. Despite being, like, the main villain, he's a very likable character, and I really feel bad for him with, like, his tragic backstory. I mean, everyone in the show actually has a tragic backstory, which I guess happens after 100 Years of War. But, like, they really go in depth with Zuko's. And, I mean, Aang's backstory is also explored heavily, at least in the one backstory episode. But I feel like Zuko's is more relevant to the plot with him being, like, banished from the Fire Nation. Aang's backstory has the unfair advantage of taking place 100 years ago. I mean, it shapes his character, but that's about it. Zuko's backstory is, like, setting up for his redemption arc. That's totally going to happen. I've called that from, like, episode 5. I mean, he's outcasted from the Fire Nation already. He was the Blue Spirit. He offered to save the general guy even though he was evil. So it's obvious to me that he's gonna turn good and teach Aang firebending. And if he doesn't, I'll be really sad because I love him. So before we move on from the characters, there's a few side characters I want to talk about. I'm not going to talk about, like, the characters that appear in, like, 1 or 2 episodes, because even though they're interesting characters, I don't want to go that in depth and make, like, a 20-minute video. So I'm just going to talk about some side characters like Appa and Momo, because there's some fun animal sidekicks, and they don't take too much attention away from, like, the main plot or characters, which is a good thing. They're used, like, the exact right amount, and I really appreciate that. I also feel the need to address Zuko's uncle, who I can never remember his name, But he's a pretty fun character. He's kind of creepy at times, but honestly that just adds to the humor. He's a pretty funny character. But speaking of funny, the show itself isn't really that funny. I'm not saying I don't enjoy the comedy, but I feel like it's more of a serious show, at least for a kids show. So there's not like a ton of comedy, but every now and then there will be a joke that is just absolutely hilarious. Or one of Zuko's temper tantrum moments, those can be funny too. Wrapping things up here, I just want to say I love the art style. It's very fun and obviously anime inspired, but that's really all I have to say about it. I really appreciate it. So, I think it's pretty clear how the rest of the show is going to turn out. The Fire Nation General guy died, I'm pretty sure. So, I guess Zuko's sister is going to be like the Season 2 threat. And then the Fire Lord will be Season 3 since, Zuko will be a good guy by then. And Aang will stop the comet and defeat the Fire Nation, of course. I don't really know if that's right, but that's all I've got for you guys in this video. Squid Mikuo is out. Peace. Okay, I feel like I need to talk about Aang a little more before I officially end this video, but I don't have too much to say. He's a good character, he is, but out of the main four, he's probably my least favorite. He's still, of course, a likable character, and that's a good thing considering he's going to be the one to save the day. I just don't have too much to say about him. He's fun, he's a good protagonist, and that's it.